Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm excited to do a massive Sephora haul. I have been purchasing a ton of products even when I wasn't posting videos, and it's adding up. So I have a lot to share with you. I'm wearing a lot of it right now. I'll throw some demo clips in, and then if I have tried the products off camera, I will give you my initial thoughts or review, but some of them I haven't even swatched yet. So I'm excited to just share this haul with you. I will link everything that I talk about today down below in my description box. Also want to say thank you to Sephora for sponsoring this video. Every time I work with them, it's honestly like my favorite partnerships just because I shop there literally all the time. So I will link everything that I show today down below in my description box. If you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. And if you enjoy Sephora hauls, give this video a thumbs up, and let's go ahead and get into what I picked up from Sephora recently. Now, before we get into what I picked up, I quickly wanted to remind you guys, if you are not signed up for the Sephora Beauty Insider program, it's completely free to sign up and it gives you so many perks. The biggest perk being access to the Sephora savings events, which happen twice a year. Along with that, you also get promotions, free makeovers, and samples as well. There's just a lot of perks to being a Sephora Beauty Insider. Highly recommend downloading the app too. That's where I shop for basically all of my Sephora stuff. I will have that at the top of my description box, but definitely sign up if you haven't already. And I want to start off with something that I saw and immediately was like, I need it. This was just like calling my name, and you guys already know I had to pick up the big jumbo size of the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. This is my holy grail in terms of locking in my makeup without making my skin look dry. It just does such a beautiful job, and they now have it in a jumbo size. So this is actually 200 ml or 6.7 ounces. This is pretty large. I like to say this is like, a weapon. This is something that, if somebody came up on you and you had this in your makeup bag, you could definitely protect yourself. But along with that, it will keep your makeup on all day. I've gone through countless bottles of this. I just love this so much, and I love that they offer jumbo, regular, and then also mini sizes. And trust me, I own all of them for whatever occasion I need it for. Speaking of products I already know I love, I picked up 2 new shades in the Patrick Ta Double Take Cream and Powder Blush Duos. You guys know my love for these, and if you're new to my channel, this is one of my favorite formulas of all time. So he has a ton of shades now, and he keeps expanding, which I'm all about because I truly think this is one of his top tier products. So the first one is She's Flushed. Now this one is more of that mauvey pink tone, a little bit of warmth that makes you look like you were in the sun. Now I am wearing this shade on my cheeks today. It was the first time I had tried it. This is super, super glowy. So what I love about his formula is the fact that you can put the powder down and then put the cream on top, and it really brings your cheeks to life. Now you don't have to. You can use it however you want. Today I only use the powder, but again, it's just beautiful when you do layer the cream. And the cream is not as pigmented as the powder, but it has a beautiful glow to it. Again, it's not going to enhance your texture. It goes over powder, but it just gives you a beautiful glow to the skin. So that one is She's Flushed. And then you guys know that I had to get She's Giving. She's Giving is basically me in a nutshell. So it is a baby pink, but quite bright and very cool tone. So here are the shades from the She's Giving, and they are super bright, very bubblegum, but almost a little bit of that lilac undertone, very slight. I think this is gonna be stunning on the cheeks. I'm a sucker for a baby pink. So I did pick up these 2 shades. There was another shade that was pretty deep, and I decided not to get it just because I thought it would be a little bit too much for my skin tone, but highly recommend checking these out. One of my all-time favorite products, hands down. A newer brand to Sephora that I have purchased quite a bit from, and I found some products I really like, is Amicole. But they have really been wowing me with some of their products. I really love their lip oils. I like their mascara. They have a few products to start, and they're continuing to build out. So one of their newer products is the Desert Date Cream Multi-Stick. So I picked up the shade Flame. Now this is supposed to be like a lip and cheek. I had to get the bright color just because that's my vibe, and I felt like once you blend these out, you can really get that beautiful pop on the cheeks. I feel like a lot of people get intimidated by shades like this, but I'm always down for a hot red or orange or a bright pink, because on the cheeks, when you blend it out, it translates beautifully. Now feeling this formula, it doesn't feel overly emollient. It sort of sets down, and it does look like it has a glow without having like chunks of glitter in it. It's pretty pigmented. Now they say you can use this for your lips or your cheeks. So I'm gonna be trying this and trying new makeup to come, but I wanted to test out this formula because this is one of their newer products, and I believe they have 4 shades of this. I did also pick up another lip oil from Amicole. So I got the color 517. Now I have a few of these, and these are very, very high shine. They're very sticky, which I don't mind. They don't necessarily feel like a lip oil, more like a gloss. They sort of remind me texture-wise of like a MAC lip gloss. Smelling it, it smells similar to like a soft vanilla. This shade is like a bronzy, shimmery shade, and they have decent pigment. So they have different shades, so you can choose one that's a little bit more pigmented or one that is more sheer. They are super, super shiny and juicy, and I'm excited to see more shades. I would love to see their take on like a lip gloss or a liquid lipstick or a lip lacquer, just because this to me feels like a lip gloss, but they call it a lip oil, if that makes sense. It doesn't bother me at all, but this definitely translates like a really thick, sticky lip gloss that's gonna last a long time, which I personally prefer. All right, so next up, I wanna talk about the lipstick I'm wearing right now. I have to say, I really love the shade. So Patrick Ta came out with more of his lipstick colors in the lip creams and then the suede matte lipsticks. So I picked up the suede lipstick in Shy. It is a gorgeous light pink, and I did pair it with a really cool tone, deeper Natasha Denona lip liner. But I love this color, and the formula feels so nice. Very, very pigmented, almost has like a soft powdery feel, but it's not dry. So it's not like grabbing onto your lines on your lips. I feel like it's pretty smoothing. So I really, really love this shade. I love the packaging, and honestly, Patrick Ta is one of my favorite brands. So I love that I can get them at Sephora, because truly every time they come out with something new, I'm just so excited to see what it is. Now, because I'm a sucker for pink lipsticks, I saw that Dior expanded their line as well. So these are the Rouge Dior Forever Matte Transfer Proof Lipsticks. I feel like I purchased one a while ago, but they came out with this really beautiful cool toned pink. So I picked up the shade Hope, and I want to compare it to this Patrick Ta. Oh my gosh, they're very similar. I would say the Dior is a smidge lighter and a smidge more cool. I love mixing a really light baby pink lip color and blending it into lip liner, whether that's a brown, tan, nude, grayish. I just feel like it's so beautiful, and pink really is one of those colors that's very flattering on my skin tone. So this formula is very, very matte, and it's supposed to be transfer proof, kind of like a liquid lipstick without the goopiness and cracking and all that. I will say these do last a long time. You may need to apply a balm underneath if you have dry lips and that bothers you. In terms of the scent, yes, it does have the typical like high-end luxury scent, but it's very mild on this, so it doesn't bother me. But I will get a ton of use out of both of these colors because pink is one of my most reach for lip colors. Jumping around a bit, I did pick up 2 glowy primer products. One I'm not so sure about, the other one I'm absolutely loving. So let's start with the one I'm not so sure about. So I just tried this today. This is the In Beauty Project Face Glaze Bronze. It says it adds a warm bronze glow and hydrates the skin. So I didn't know what to expect with this. I thought it was going to be just sort of a really glowy base, which it is, but it has more pigment than I thought it would. And it does say on the back that you can use this as a cream bronzer, you can use it as a primer, you can use it mixed in with your foundation. So I used it as a primer, and I quickly found out that you don't want to put this all over your face, or at least I didn't, just because it does have quite a bit of pigment. So I tried to focus it on where I would actually apply bronzer and using it that way. And the texture of it is a light gel. It's not super heavy. It has a little tack to it, but it's not like crazy emollient. I felt like my foundation went on top of it just fine, but I just wasn't expecting it to have that much pigment. So I am curious how this would look over foundation. I'm wondering if it would be sort of like the Glossier, can't remember the name of them, but those like shimmery bronzers that kind of feel similar to the vibe on this. So if you've tried this, let me know. If you're super tan, this may be something that you can put all over, but for me, I'm super fair, and when I tried to apply it, I was like, whoa. So this is something that I definitely would only keep in targeted areas. The other glowy product I'm absolutely loving, and I'm actually shocked that I love this. This is the Drunk Elephant Be Goldie Bright Drops. Now I know that the bronze drops went crazy viral. I feel like I've tried those, but I wasn't like crazy impressed. So I didn't know how I'd like this because I typically really don't like liquid illuminators. But for me, I use this as a primer on the high points of my face, and it really reminds me of the NARS Radiance Primer. The NARS Radiance Primer has more of a peachy glow to it, also has SPF. This has more of that like gold champagne color. I just think this is absolutely stunning. I feel like if you like liquid highlights, I mean, look at the shine this gives. It has a beautiful glow to it, but it also has this like transparency to it where it's not too much as a primer. So of course, when you do apply it, I mean, you're gonna get a lot of glow, but it's just so beautiful. It's not like chunky or Tin Man, I like to say. It just hits the light and looks absolutely stunning, and it is a gel texture again. Very thin, does not disrupt my foundation. I feel like it actually gives me a little bit of hydration as well. It does say that it has niacinamide in it too. So I have been really impressed with this, using it pretty much every day. And I know, again, people were loving the bronze drops, but I think this one is absolutely gorgeous if you're just looking for something to really give you a nice glow under your foundation. Shifting gears, I want to talk about the eyeshadow palette everybody's raving about, including me. I did a first impression on this palette and I'm wearing it on my eyes right now. So this is the new Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. So I actually purchased mine from Sephora. I did end up getting the palette in PR and I did a review, but my order came in and I'm trying to decide if I just want to gift this to somebody because it's so beautiful, but I thought I would show it here because I did order it from Sephora. Now this palette is stunning. It is cool tone, but it's not the typical silver black cool tone color story. You've got these really beautiful, I call them like smoke, stone, pebble sort of colors, and then you have a couple peachy shades that can give you a smidge of warmth, but overall on me, it still translates cool. So I think it's a neutral, leaning very cool palette. The shimmers in here are gorgeous. So I used the shade right here, which is called Sheen, and this is one of her new wet shades. And you can see on the lid, it's very translucent and glittery. Then she's got some more really intense shades. Like this shade right here is super pigmented, and then the one in the middle is quite chunky. So there's just so many different textures to choose from. If you love a soft soft glam look, a glimmer, high shine, really sophisticated. This palette is absolutely stunning. I highly recommend it. It's just one of my favorites of the year, and I've only used it twice now. I just feel like it's so easy to work with, blends beautifully. Just think she knocked it out of the park with this. So if you haven't gotten your hands on this, definitely do so. All right, next I want to talk about blush. And you know, when I start talking about blush, you're going to be here for a while. So you might want to sit down and grab a snack, grab a drink, a beverage, because we have a lot to go through. So let's talk about one that I've been loving and one that I'm wearing right now on top of the Patrick Ta. I did not think I was going to love these, but I purchased one and I could not stop reaching for it, so much so that I went back and got another one. So these are the Givenchy Prisme Libre blushes. So these are loose powder blushes. Now there's 4 different shades in each component and they all come out together. So they just create a beautiful flush on the cheeks. So surprisingly, I started off with the shade 3, which is the coral shade. The reason I did is because your girl has so many of those pink, baby pink blushes, and I thought, let me just try something different. So the packaging is stunning. As I throw it around, pardon me. It's very much like a loose powder. Now I will say that a lot comes out, so just be mindful of that. It does have the luxury fragrance scent as well, but it doesn't bother me because it is so beautiful. So this is a radiant formula. So I'm just going to swatch the coral on my hand. It's a pretty sheer flush of color. I usually build mine up because I do like a pretty punchy blush. So here's 2 layers and you can see the really pretty sheen. It is very, very fine. You're not gonna get chunky glitter, enhancing your texture, anything like that. It's very similar vibe on the cheeks to maybe like the Dior Backstage Original Coral Blush and Pink Blush, but I would say these have a little bit more depth to them and a little bit more pigment. And I use this coral shade literally all over. Like I'll go all over my face and it does not enhance any of my pores. It is just truly stunning. I cannot believe how much I love this. So much so that I went back and picked up the shade 01, which is the baby pink shade. Now, in my heart, I knew I was gonna end up getting the pink shade. I don't know why I didn't get them both at the same time, but I did end up going back. This one you can see has these gorgeous like lilac, really cool tone pink shades. So there is 3 layers of the pink. So you can see that it's definitely buildable. It's one of those that if you like a very subtle blush, you could just do, you know, 1 or 2 layers. If you want more punchy like me, build up 3 or 4. Absolutely stunning product. Really can't rave about this enough. I didn't think that I was going to love this as much as I do. And it's taking everything in me not to go back and buy literally every single shade, which I think I actually might consider buying a couple more. When the next Sephora savings event happens, I'm definitely gonna be picking up a couple more of these. So if you've been eyeing them and didn't know if you would enjoy them or not, highly recommend adding them to your cart. I also grabbed a couple shades of the new Give Beauty blush duos. So these are the Feelin' Cheeky Amplifying Blush Duos. These came out a little bit before these other ones, and I went ahead and picked up 2 shades. Now I've been wearing these and I can give you my thoughts. So of course I had to get the Ex-Girlfriend, which is the really beautiful pink tone, leaning purple, especially this shade. Now these are interesting because I thought that they were gonna be like a cream and a powder, but they're actually both powders. On the top you have more of a glowy sheer blush, and then on the bottom you have a more pigmented but still glowy blush. You can see that one has definitely like a purple undertone. One thing I noticed about these, which sort of surprised me, is that they have a fragrance and it's pretty heavy, which I just wasn't expecting. Sort of what you would think of when you're getting like a luxury product. It has that sort of scent. So just be mindful of that. But you can see that they're both really glowy. They give you a sheen on the skin, and they are a little bit harder pressed. So the top shade, you definitely are gonna have to do a couple layers. The bottom shade, maybe just like 1 or 2, but definitely a harder pressed, not powdery formula. And then I also picked up the shade Stars Aligned. I feel like I actually like this one more, which sort of surprised me. This one's giving me like She's So LA from Patrick Ta, but a little bit more peachiness. I don't find that they enhance my texture, but they're definitely not matte. So I think these are beautiful. Honestly, if I had to choose one, the Stars Aligned is my favorite. Although if I had to choose between this and the Givenchy, it's Givenchy all day long. I also picked up 2 of these liquid lipstick / liquid blushes from Valentino Beauty. Honestly, the packaging and the colors, I just could not pass it up. So this is supposed to be for your lips or your cheeks. Now I've used them both ways, and oddly, I feel like I prefer them on the cheeks. Definitely would not put this over powder, but this shade is absolutely stunning. Now I will say that these are pretty sheer. So when you apply it like that, when you start blending it out, it almost has a little bit of that silicone feel, and you can see that it just blends really softly. So if you want a lot of pigment, you're gonna have to build these, and I would say, you know, at least maybe 3 layers to really get the color you're looking for, depending on your skin tone as well. Now the other one is more of a neutral kind of peachy shade. So I'll go ahead and swatch that for you. So you can see, like, when you swatch it, it looks quite pigmented, but then when you start blending it out, it does really sheer out. So if you like more of a subtle look, these may be for you. So I think the packaging is absolutely stunning and the shades are beautiful. It's just a natural, everyday sort of, like, if you don't wear a lot of powder, just pat it on, blend it out, and you have a beautiful flush. But I'm still playing around with these, so I'll kind of try these in some trying new makeup videos and give you a more in-depth look at them, but I just could not pass up the presentation on these. If you saw my last trying new makeup, you would have seen me demo this blush from Tower 28. This is so pretty. So this is the Beach Please in Dream Hour. Their formula is forever one of my favorites. Super beautiful, easy to use. You can use this formula over powder or under powder. It is a gorgeous baby pink. Again, that cool tone. I feel like that is what's going viral this year, so all the brands are hopping on, and I'm not mad about it. This formula is just absolutely stunning, and I don't find that it's too light or too purple. It's just very flattering if you love that really baby doll look that I do. So I definitely had to hop on this when they released it, and I honestly want to see more shades. I feel like a lot of their shades are very warm, so it would be cool to see them really continue to come out with more options, very similar to Patrick Ta, because I feel like we need all of the undertones. The last blush I have to share with you, I'm a little bit late to the game and I have not even tried this yet. I really want to try it in a video to come, but this is from Haus Labs, and this is the Color Fuse blush. So they came out with this new shade, Lavender Blonde. Truly, this is a purple. It's like a dusty purple color. I have had a blush that I loved years ago from Urban Decay that reminds me of this. So I'm really excited to try this. This formula is absolutely gorgeous. I feel like we have so many brands smashing it with blush lately, and we love to see it. Just beautiful. Definitely had to get my hands on this just because it's something different for my collection. You know, I tend to stick with my baby pinks a lot, and I know this is still, you know, a pinky tone, but it really is purple, and it does look purple in the pan. So I'm interested to see how this translates on the skin, but I definitely had to grab this when I saw they had a new shade, and I am very excited, hoping that they come out with even more because these blushes are so beautiful. We just need all of the different options. Moving on, I want to talk about a couple products from Fenty. So starting out with the Fenty Beauty, this is the brand new Ease Drop Blur and Smooth Tint Stick. So I got the shade 5. Now I've worn this once, but I have to say it was so hot. It is so hot right now. Like the humidity is like 100. Like we have a heat advisory right now in Ohio. So you basically shower, walk outside, and you're drenched. I mean, there's really just, it's a constant battle, okay? It's just so hot and humid. So it's not the best time to test this, but this is supposed to be a stick version of the Ease Drop tint, which I really like, or the blurring drops. It's just such a beautiful light medium coverage everyday skin tint. Now this, I feel like had a little bit more coverage than the Ease Drops in the drop formula. And sticks usually are a little bit too emollient for my oily skin. I would definitely have to use some sort of mattifying primer and mattifying setting spray. So I will test this out in a video to come, but I did pick up the shade 5. It's a little bit warm. I wasn't expecting it to be that warm. And I've noticed like when you swatch it, it looks a little bit more neutral, and then when you blend it out, I feel like it becomes a little bit like, I don't know, peachy-ish warm. So I don't know if it's the best shade for me, but I didn't want to go too deep. So I will have to try this in a video, but let me know your thoughts on this, and if in general, do you like stick foundations? I usually don't love them as much just because they're just so emollient, they slip off my face. The other product I got from Fenty is actually from Fenty Skin, and this is Holy Grail. I have repurchased this many times. This is the Hydra Reset Intensive Recovery Hand Mask. This is the best when it comes to dry hands, which I definitely have. I just wash my hands too much. I don't like feeling anything on my fingertips. So it has an interesting applicator. The product comes out clear and it's really thick. So this is very much a mask. It's not something that I would throw on, you know, when I'm out doing errands or anything. You really wanna coat your hand overnight, and it really just protects your hand. It's almost like a glycerin layer on your hand. And by the morning, your hands are super soft and hydrated. I struggle horribly in the wintertime, especially, and this is a savior for me. I've gone through multiple tubes. I'm just waiting for them to come out with a jumbo, sort of like the Charlotte Tilbury, because they do have a mini size as well. But this is a game changer. If you overwash your hands, you're a bartender, you're a nurse, whatever the case is, add this to cart and thank me later. Okay, so I have one more product to share with you guys. I feel like it was hidden in all of the blush that I just talked about, but I did end up picking up one of the liquid lipsticks from Charlotte Tilbury. So these are the Airbrush Blur liquid lipsticks. I picked up Pillow Talk Blur. I have to say the packaging is really beautiful. This is supposed to be like one of those moussey whipped lip colors. I tend to really like those just because they don't crack and they last longer than a typical bullet lipstick, but they have a soft matte look to them. So they're more forgiving if you have dry lips or you just don't want to deal with the maintenance of liquid lipsticks cracking and, you know, doing the whole thing that's really annoying. This is a better option. So a lot of times I will opt for something like this pretty much every day, because when it wears off, it just wears off really evenly and you can layer it and you don't have to worry about, did I put gloss on? Did I do this? Is this going to, you know, crack or separate? They're just very easy to use. This shade, I mean, I feel like a lot of people would really like. So I'm interested to try this out. I feel like this got pretty good reviews. I will say I would have liked to see a bigger variety of shades, but you know, Charlotte Tilbury is the queen of that like natural glam. So I definitely get why she did shades like this. And of course, she couldn't do it without having the famous Pillow Talk shade. So I will try this out as well, but I thought that these looked really beautiful and it's something that I would reach for pretty much every day. All right, guys, so I think that is everything I picked up from Sephora recently. We did just move, so there's a possibility that a couple products are tucked away somewhere that I forgot about. Lots of lip products, lots of blush. Really, that just describes me. So honestly, I can't say anything other than I'm just a blush and lip fanatic. I was excited to really show you guys what I picked up recently and give you my initial thoughts, because a lot of it I've been using off camera. Of course, I will link everything that I talked about today down below in my description box. Don't forget to sign up to become a Sephora Beauty Insider, get access to the savings events and all of the perks that come with it. So I highly recommend doing so. It's completely free. I will have that at the top of my description box as well. Let me know what you've been picking up recently from Sephora or what you've been eyeing. There's a few more products that I am like, I really want to try them, and I feel like a lot of new products are coming out right now. So it's an exciting time to scroll the Sephora app, which I do every day anyways. So thank you guys again so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.